Tesla was able to do something that I think most people aren't talking about because everyone wants to focus on the election and the credits and politics, you know, all that boring stuff that doesn't really affect us, right? I want to focus on the Cybertruck for a second, mainly because the Cybertruck kind of built this channel and it feels like it's come a long way from those early days where I was reading hundreds of comments every day saying, oh, this is never gonna happen, or they're gonna have to fundamentally change it, or the Cybertruck is vaporware. Well, not only has Tesla achieved a run rate of 1,400 Cybertrucks per week. Do the math a little bit, that's well over 5,000 Cybertrucks a month. But they're also saying midway through 2024 that they're still on track for the Cybertruck to become profitable by the end of this year. That's a milestone. That's a pretty major one in my opinion that not very many people are dwelling on. Maybe because it's obvious that Tesla could make it profitable because, well, yeah, duh, Foundation Series, they're charging $100,000 or $120,000 for these trucks. A lot of you are probably thinking it's kind of crazy that it's not profitable already, but my point is electric trucks by design are very difficult to make profitable because they are kind of unaerodynamic by nature. Rivian still hasn't been able to turn a profit with the R1T. We're fairly confident Ford has not been profitable with the F-150 Lightning either. GM hasn't said much about the Hummer EV or the Silverado, but I'm guessing probably not profitable either. Otherwise, they'd probably want to scale up production or at least let individual customers take delivery of the Silverado EV and not just fleet buyers. But the fact that it took Tesla basically only 1 year to turn the Cybertruck from, okay, here's a few prototypes driving around the factory to, okay, this is now a profitable product for the business, that's no easy feat. And I think that's why Tesla has made so many compromises with the Cybertruck, where a lot of people go, hey, why is this build quality not amazing? Or why didn't they put another display up here? Or why didn't they add this, that, or the other thing? Well, Tesla has a lot of battle scars from the early days of EV adoption, and they're very focused on profitability, which is why I think a lot of investors are so drawn to them. But the other exciting development going on is they said they've started prototyping Cybertrucks using a new manufacturing technique for the 4680 cells that bypasses a huge step in the battery manufacturing process by making 4680s using the dry electrode technique. This is something Tesla has talked about doing since 2020. Obviously, it took way longer than they initially thought, but way back at Tesla Battery Day, they went into excruciating detail on how they're switching to the dry electrode process, which should drastically reduce the price of battery manufacturing. We're talking like 50% cost of manufacturing, which is kind of key when you want to develop EVs that have big battery packs because, of course, the more batteries you put in them, the more expensive they become. So with Tesla manufacturing these new battery cells, prototyping them now, that should allow them to build them much faster, much cheaper, and they've said they're on track to open their lithium refinery just a couple hours away from Giga Texas within the next year in 2025. That's a really good sign for them drastically reducing the price of 4680 cells, which of course not only help them lower the price of the Cybertruck, which I think everybody wants. Pretty much the whole journalist and YouTube community, everybody who's reviewed the Cybertruck has agreed this is not a $100,000 truck. They're charging that for it just so you can be an early adopter and boost your channel's credibility or get a lot of early access coverage of it, but the Cybertruck, I think it's pretty clear from the ground up, was designed to be a more mass market, more affordable option, and they're just charging full price with all the bells and whistles right now. But once they can get the price of the 4680s down, I think that will allow them to hit those next generation price targets of $80,000, and then maybe with the federal tax credit down to $70,000. But oh wait, never mind, Elon said federal tax credits aren't that important, which brings me to some of my negative impressions from Tesla's earnings call today. I didn't want to talk about that in the thumbnail or the title of this video because I really don't like the idea of capitalizing on bad news or trying to give people the impression that I'm a Tesla hater or doubter, because I am still a Tesla shareholder. I've never sold a single share. I still own a Tesla. I still love the supercharger network, and there's still so many great things about the company, about the brand that I'm a fan of. But like all things, I don't think it's that black and white. I don't think we should be blindly loyal or act like because Tesla has done some great things, that means everything they are doing and will ever do are also great. And especially with Elon's comments on the future administration, I have a hard time being proud about how they're kind of handling this whole situation, because clearly Elon is endorsing a candidate that's in favor of removing electric vehicle tax credits, but so much of the Tesla community seems to just automatically assume that because Elon wants all of the oil subsidization to go away, say that means that the next administration is also going to remove oil subsidies if they're going to remove EV tax credits. I have seen no evidence that that's the case. And Elon, on the call at least, in my opinion, was a little bit in denial about the fact that Tesla has benefited massively from the IRA credits. In fact, Tesla boasted in their shareholder deck about how many credits they got the Model 3 to qualify for, only for him to turn around and say, oh, well, we can remove the tax credits. It's no big deal. Tesla will be fine. Maybe in the short term, we'll take a little bit of a hit, but he said publicly several times now that removing the EV tax credit will help Tesla because it will make things harder on their competitors. That doesn't really support Tesla's mission statement, in my opinion. It's just saying that other companies that are trying to make all-electric vehicles are going to have a harder time selling their vehicle because they won't have the tax credit, which means Tesla will have the greater advantage. So to me, it felt like he was saying it doesn't matter if other EV companies fail, as long as Tesla succeeds, that's a win in my book. Which kind of goes directly against earlier comments he made in his career, and I hope that we could focus a little bit more on the whole electrification transition and not so much just we gotta be pro-Tesla at the end of the day and anti-everybody else. Not everybody wants a Tesla, believe it or not. I love my car, but many people out there don't like the interior design or don't like the software and would much rather buy an EV from another brand that prioritizes the features or technology or designs that other people prefer. And I think removing the federal tax credit will have a fairly negative effect on Tesla. We're already seeing, despite Tesla lower their prices and lower their cost of goods sold, massive declines in profits compared to previous years. They're not growing at the original rates they said they are, and we're basically just holding out hope that these next generation models that they're not saying much about are coming out early in 2025, and those are supposed to be more affordable models that they can build more of with their existing assembly lines. But how much cheaper are these models going to be if they still share a lot of components or parts with the existing Tesla Model 3s and Ys on the assembly line today? Sounds like Tesla's going through a lot of re-engineering and a lot of work to basically introduce some new models that might save $4,000, $5,000 to the end consumer, whereas the federal tax credit saves $7,500 for the end consumer. But Elon thinks, oh yeah, saving $7,500 per vehicle, that's no big deal. Also, he basically said that if Trump wins the election, then they're not going to build Giga Mexico. So development on Giga Mexico has completely paused, and he's just saying, no, we can just continue to ramp up production at our existing factories, which I don't know. I have a hard time visualizing how they can use their existing factories to ramp up scale all that much more without building a lot more physical assembly lines and stuff like that. But my only fear and concern here is that, similar to how wrong Elon has been with the full self-driving timelines, which he himself has acknowledged in the earnings call, he publicly said, like, yeah, I've been way too optimistic about this in the past. If you continuously are too optimistic about autonomy and that being a serious revenue generator in the future, then you could be kind of betting the company now by not prioritizing, I don't know, candidates that want to keep around the EV tax credits, because he's so distracted with robotaxis the future that you forget that the vehicle sales are kind of the lifeline of the company. Now, personally, I don't think Tesla is gonna die. I don't think they're gonna fail or go bankrupt, especially now that they've got meaningful profits coming in from the energy business as well. Like, I think they're gonna be fine. I just think that they might be spending a little too much time and money on things that aren't as profitable as they think they are. The regulatory approval, I think, is a huge hurdle that they're underestimating right now. They don't have the data yet to submit to regulators to prove that FSD can be substantially safer than a human, because right now, all of the data they have is purely based on supervised driving. They basically have little to no data showcasing how safe it is with unsupervised driving, which is kind of the vital data you need to prove to regulators that they should allow it in different regions. And again, this is something that has to be approved on a city and state level. This is not something the federal government just checks a box and says, okay, Tesla, you can drive robotaxis everywhere. It's not that simple, but the way they talk about it on the earnings calls makes me feel like they believe it is that simple. We just have to prove the data is there, and then the money just starts pouring in. When in reality, we're already seeing like Tesla try to slash prices as much as possible, bring back old high range of more affordable options to try to move more inventory, and they're still not selling as many vehicles as they used to. The profit isn't what it used to be, and I don't think removing those EV tax credits is going to help with their profit margins much either. So genuinely, I really hope I'm wrong. I want robotaxis to become a thing. That would be awesome, and I was really pumped for the robotaxi unveil. I'm super bummed that it got delayed till October. I'm definitely going to be watching it, and I really hope Tesla's able to achieve it, but I do think there's a decent chance, based on how many timelines they've missed in the past, that there could be another 4 to 5 years of missed goals, missed timelines, or rollouts that aren't as major as Tesla was originally hoping. Kind of like, you know, how the Tesla Semi was supposed to start production in 2019, and right now in 2024 we have like 100 on the road, and they're saying that volume production will start at the end of 2025. So there was a projected timeline, and now Tesla's about 6 years late on that timeline. So if we're 6 years behind Robotaxi, there could be a lot of rough years ahead where the profits aren't where they used to be, and Tesla might have to really start doubling down on, okay, maybe we are an automotive company and we have to focus on bringing in revenue through auto sales because robotaxis aren't as profitable as we initially thought. But the good news is, even if Tesla has to course correct and focus more on vehicle sales, I believe they have the engineering talent and know how to do it because of incredibly profitable vehicles with quick turnarounds for profitability like the Cybertruck. And it's crazy to me how much earlier the Rivian came out and how much later the Cybertruck was, and yet the Cybertruck and Rivian should be achieving profitability around the same time. That's kind of an impressive milestone to me, and I think Tesla is able to do incredible things thanks to their vertical integration. So I wish them all the best, and I want to thank everybody supporting this channel directly. It seriously helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.